Glory go for the compassionate and merciful life. Short story written and read by his elder Abderrahmane Dakir. Introduction. Khalid is an old man, famous for his acts of volunteerism in the big city in Morocco, Casablanca. He lost his brother in an accident last year on the highway, so he has decided to visit places which have people who are suffering, whether in body or mind. Chapter 1. Accident Patients. The first visit was to the hospital. When he opened the door of accident emergency, he noticed a young man laying on the bed. Khalid asked, "What's your name?" "Ali," the patient replied. "Could you tell me what happened to you, please?" "I was at a party with friends. After I left, I was driving home, but I was speeding. It was raining heavily. My car crashed into a tree. Then I remember nothing," said Ali. "What moral did you learn after that day?" asked Khalid. "I learned that my God loves me as a father loves his sons. If a son does bad things, his father punishes him because he wants his son to do better. I have been a bad young man. I have spent many nights with bad women, drunk a lot of wine. I haven't prayed, have not followed in your footsteps, and so have sinned against God. I have been so selfish. I didn't care about family, about people. I give no money to the poor. I have focused on myself. I don't really fully notice others," said Ali. Compassion allows you to really focus on others rather than on your own reflection. When we do things that are caring and loving, we feel more love in return, said Khalid. "I have seen some of the worst cases in the hospital, and now my case seems better in comparison. In addition, your visit has given me the strength to forget my pain. Really, just little bits of compassion can heal an ailing soul," said Ali. Later, Ali left the hospital. He has been very careful. He drives slowly on the road. He doesn't drink wine when he drives. Every day, he fights his ego. He promises himself to continue on the straight path. He exercises self-compassion and compassion with others. When he sees a poor person, he gives them money without hesitation. He has become a well-adjusted person in our society. Khalid and other people are proud of him. Chapter 2. Cancer Patients. The second visit was to Jamal's house. Jamal has a medical checkup each year. That month, the doctor discovered that Jamal had cancer. Khalid asked Jamal, "What did the doctor say?" "I'm bedridden. They don't know when my last day will be. They wait, and I wait too. Each day I tell myself that it is my last. My mom is already dead," said Jamal. "What lesson have you learned after discovering that?" asked Khalid. "I learned that my God loves me. Being patient with cancer isn't easy. I was a tough manager. I treated my employees badly. I used to be strong. I felt like a king of an empire who would live forever. If you are a bad son, your father punishes you in order to get you back on the right track. I believe that my God is more compassionate than my father. I hope the rest of my life will last more than just few more days. I will give more money to the poor. I will take care of my employees, family, homeless people," said Jamal. Happiness depends on your relationships and interaction with others. If money doesn't buy happiness, it doesn't buy compassion either. Your everyday good deeds are never in vain, for they shall return to you even more than you expect. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Time has proven that in caring and sharing comes healing, said Khalid. Your visit has given me the strength to forget my pain. Really, the smallest bit of love can make any person feel whole, said Jamal. Later, the doctor discovered that Jamal's type of cancer was dangerous, but he could live with it if he kept taking his medicine every day. Hi, Jamal. I have good news. Your cancer is not terminal. We have suitable medicine for you, but you have to take it on time every day, the doctor said. Oh, I'm lucky. My God has given me another chance. God bless you, doctor. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. Later, Jamal left the hospital. He manages his employees well every day. He fights his ego. He promises himself to continue on the straight path. He exercises self compassion and compassion with others. When he sees a poor person, he gives them money without hesitation. He has become a well adjusted person in our society. Khalid and other people are proud of him. Chapter 3, Love Broken Hearts. The third visit was to Hamid's house. Hamid had broken up with his girlfriend Dunya, who got married to a wealthy man. Khalid asked Hamid, "How are you feeling after this separation?" Being in this situation is not easy, but my God loves me. I discovered that Dunya loves money more than me. If I had gotten married to her, I would have been the most worse off among all my friends, Hamid replied. What lesson have you learned after these events? Asked Khalid. These events has shown me that love between two people is like a short journey in this life. It doesn't last forever. Since then, I have started to be much closer to my God, the most compassionate, said Hamid. A compassionate disposition can change the world around you. One way to do that is to count your blessings, said Khalid. Your visit has given me the strength to forget my pain. When I look back on my life, the best thing I ever wanted to do was to be compassionate like you. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give, said Hamid. Later, Hamid met a young girl called Aya. She's smarter than Dunya, less beautiful than Dunya, but in Hamid's eyes, the most beautiful girl in the world. She has a beautiful soul. She's calm and modest. Since falling in love with her, Hamid fights with his ego every day. He reminds himself that only God can compensate us for our losses, and sometimes things aren't meant to be because better things await us. When Hamid remembers his lost love, he is grateful and thankful to God. He has given me my soul mate instead, Hamid whispers to himself. Each day Hamid strives to be closer to God so that his new love might be protected and strong. My God took my first love, Dunya, in order to give me better. I believe one truth, that my God is the most compassionate and the most merciful to me. Khalid and other people are proud of Hamid. Chapter 4, Earthquake Tsunamis. The fourth visit is to a luxury hotel in Casablanca. Khalid has an appointment with Susan. She is a world's famous reporter and always covers events about disasters in wars. This is such an honor. I'm intensely grateful for the opportunity to speak to you today. I have a question. Could you explain to me if you think earthquakes are punishment from God? Susan asked Khalid. I have proof that earthquakes are punishments. Have you ever seen danger befalling people praying during an earthquake? Never. In Haiti, the only places that remain standing now are the mosques, and the same for places that have been hit by tsunamis. If you were leader in the most successful company in the world, what would you expect from your employees or your team? You provide your employees with everything they need to do their jobs in the correct way. However, they spend all their time listening to music, dancing, and fooling around, and they don't do anything valuable. What do you do? We should expect disaster of some sort when we are consumed by our ego. God doesn't want to inflict disaster or accidents, but these are allowed in order that true spiritual freedom be maintained. To get some idea of how God loves us, we could start by thinking about parents and their child who have to do urgent surgery on his heart. If the doctor doesn't do the surgery, the child will die. His father agrees to do this difficult surgery, but his mother doesn't agree to do it. The doctor and the father are more compassionate because the surgery will save the child's life. Despite it being one of the hardest decisions a father could ever have to make, God loves us, offers us love, and gives us the freedom to say yes or no. If we are unable to respond to his love, then he feels pain for what might have been. However, if we respond to his love, we can feel loved, free, and forgiven then when we will want to share God's love with those around us. Compassion on earth is given to us by God, but we are responsible for protecting it or leaving it, Khalid said. Chapter 5 Titanic, NASA Challenger. What about the NASA Challenger in the 80s and the Titanic at the beginning of the century? Susan said. NASA Challenger in the 80s and the Titanic at the beginning of century are disasters because of the human ego. Humans have to be modest. They shouldn't say things like, this ship is the strongest in the world. God is the mightiest and no other. We have to live on this earth like stewards on the biggest ship. But if we don't collaborate together, our ship will be worse than the Titanic. So we have to perfect our deeds, give advice to ourselves and others, fight our ego. And when we make something like an engine or anything else, we should be humble. Then our ship will continue in peace, in love. Compassion on earth is given to us by God, but we are responsible for protecting it or living it, Khalid said. Chapter 6 War. What about current wars and conflicts? Susan asked. With the help of God, man created fire, but the same fire that enables us to cook food also allows us to destroy entire forests. Nowadays, war has political purpose. The leaders of countries should treat other nations as they would wish to be treated themselves. Don't judge others. We have to move toward appreciation of the other, no matter the color of his skin or his religion or his country. We must lower our egos. whether it is individual ego, family ego, and national ego. We live on one earth, so we have one goal. We have to show a great sense of solidarity from east to west and from north to south. Together, we have to implement mercy instead of revenge, collaboration instead of competition, inclusion instead exclusion. Stand side by side, hand in hand for a common goal, then our differences will melt away, Khalid said. Chapter 7, Human Beings. Khalid thought to himself, don't forget, human beings could never create a soul, ever. The angels prostrated to Adam's body, created from clay only after he had a soul. Without it, we are just clay. When the soul is withdrawn from the body, it dies and the body decays. We are from clay. That's why we love soil, earth, roots, mountains, and love to travel to see what? The beauty created by my God in the seas, mountains, waves, sands, animals, farms, forests, in the earth. After our death, we return to our original form, buried underground clay. Only God can breathe life into our bodies so we might embody a piece of His soul. With this relationship, God loves us more than our mothers or our fathers. So, if we really love our mothers or our fathers, we have to take their advice. And then we have to perfect the attributes of God in ourselves by following God's path. Practice self-compassion, practice compassion with others, nature. You will feel the presence of a power of the most compassionate, the most merciful, and the deepest love whenever and wherever you are. Now, one thing to be true. Our reward in life and death comes from following this truth path with both our body and soul.